What would you think if I told you there was once a man who was so charismatic that he could convince more than 900 people to just uproot their lives in the United States, uproot their lives, move to a third world country, and start anew? New life, new world, all in the name of their religious beliefs. What if I also told you that this same man was indeed real, and he could convince those nearly 1,000 people to walk into their imminent deaths at his command? What if I told you that story was real? It's all real, and the man at the core of that story, his name was Jim Jones. And I'm going to tell you about Jim Jones and what happened in Guyana in November of 1978. Let's get right into it. Jim Jones was born May 13th, 1931. He was born near Lynn, Indiana. And as a young man, Jones graduated from Butler University. Shortly after he graduated, he decided he was going to enter into ministry. Through the 1950s and 60s, Jones garnered a very big reputation for being a very charismatic churchman. He also claimed that he had special abilities, like the ability to foretell the future and the ability to miraculously heal those who were sick. Jim Jones was a very big advocate, and he spoke very, very seriously about racial integration in the church. He believed in it. Now, when he did this, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially a lot of the elders that attended his church. 1955, Jones started Wings of Deliverance, which was a Pentecostal church. He would later, in 1965 and 1971, move the church, relocating it eventually to San Francisco, California. He did this twice because of fear of nuclear war. So after the final move in 1971, Jones adopted the name The Prophet. Now, it wasn't long after this that he was being confused. There was allegations, most notably that he was illegally diverting funds from cult members to his own personal use. So amid all the mounting accusations, Jones and hundreds of his followers would move to Guyana, and they would start an agricultural commune in 1977, and they would call it Jonestown. Next, Jones would confiscate all of his followers' passports, along with millions of dollars. He would even manipulate them with threats of blackmail, beatings, and possible death. Then he would go on to stage these bizarre rehearsals of mass suicide. On November 14th, 1978, a U.S. representative out of California named Lee O'Brien would show up in Guyana with a group of reporters and relatives of some of the cult members. He was there to perform an unofficial investigation into alleged abuse. 4 days after Representative Ryan arrived in Guyana, they were set to leave. As they got to an airstrip, they had 14 defectors with them. At this time, they were getting ready to board a plane, but Jones had his men follow them to the airstrip, where there they would assassinate them, killing 5 people, one of them being Representative Ryan, 3 others being reporters, and one being one of the defectors that was trying to get out of the cult and leave Jonestown. Sad part was, one of the cameramen was rolling their camera at the time the men arrived and started shooting. Once Jones got word of what happened on the airstrip, he feared that the ones who escaped and got away were going to alert authorities, and he immediately called a group meeting where he got everybody together and he officially executed the plan of a mass suicide. This was November 18th. He had everybody on the property consume a cyanide adulterated punch. Guyanese troops would arrive on the property the following day to see bodies strewn around lifeless on the property. In total, there were 918 of them. That was including the 5 that were killed on the airstrip. 304 of those were people under the age of 18. So there's a story in the Bible where the Lord asks Abraham in Genesis to sacrifice his one and only son to prove his faith. Abraham was willing to do this, and in fact, he was going to do it. But the moment when Abraham was about to plunge a knife into his son as a sacrifice to the Lord, angels spoke out from the heavens and said, "Stop. You don't have to do this. You do not have to hurt your son in any way." And Abraham stopped, and they said that was more than enough to prove. Your willingness to do that to your son was proof of your faith in the Lord. The reason I say that is because faith and religion did indeed have a big effect on what happened in Jonestown. I cannot sit here and tell you I'm a big religious person. I have my moments where I hear people preach, I hear their thoughts, I listen to what they have to say, and I make my own opinion based on it. But I'll tell you this, I have a lot of respect for everybody on this planet, no matter what their beliefs are. There's a lot of religious people out there that do believe, in fact, in the word that they read, whether it's in the United States, across the seas, in other countries, China, Saudi Arabia, Japan, anywhere. Wherever it's at, they might have a little bit of difference in their beliefs and the history of where it came from. But in the end, there's a lot of people out there that have strong faith. And that's kind of the scary part about what happened in Jonestown. The willingness for all these people to just uproot themselves and go with this man because of the faith they had in him. And if you read stories like that, like in Genesis, what Abraham did, in the Bible, and you're a person of faith, he was willing to sacrifice his son in the name of faith because he believed that's what the Lord wanted him to do. How do I not know that a lot of these people were willing to sacrifice themselves that easy without a second thought if they really thought they were doing it in the name of religion and that's what the Lord wanted? That's what Jones preached to them and they believed it. Don't know if that was a factor, but in a sense that's what it seems to me. Their faith gave them the willingness to do that. In the end, we'll never know. There are some survivors from Jonestown who have spoke their mind. Most of them have said that they're glad they made it out. They look back on it not as something that's very fond in their mind or their memory, but they do have memories that are good. But in the end, what happened in Jonestown, they deem that as bad. And I would happen to agree with them. But in the end, we got to do what we want in life. Don't be afraid to believe in something. If there's something you want to believe in and you're strong about it, believe in it. Have passion. Have faith. Whatever your faith is, feel free to have it. Let nobody else determine what you should believe in your life. But you got to ask yourself, is what I'm believing in going to drive me to do something that most would say is insane? If you believe that's what you're supposed to do, and you got 100% faith in your heart that it's right, I can't stop you, and nobody else can. I do believe if you ask all them people that died that day in Jonestown, if they could go back and make another choice, I honestly believe most of them will make the same choice, because that's what their faith told them to do. But I do believe there's some that would make an alternate decision. Just my opinion. But anyway, Jim Jones was a very powerful man, and he was a leader. Clearly he was a leader because he got a lot of people to follow him. But I like to pray for those that are still alive that went through that tragedy that happened in Jonestown. Those that had family out there that are still alive. It's crazy that almost 1,000 people died in one moment from a mass suicide. That's the largest mass suicide on our planet ever. But anyway, there it is. What happened in Jonestown in 1978. I want everybody to go out today, be thankful for what you got, and be happy for those in your lives. If there's something you want to go and do it. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. If there's something you want to see, a place you want to go see it. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. If there's somebody you want to meet, go out there and meet them. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And remember, whatever you want to do in life, do it. Just always, always dream big. Thank you, everybody. If you liked what I had to say here, please like and subscribe. That'll help me and this channel grow. And in return, I can help you by sharing my perspective on things that have happened in our history. Our history or somebody else's history. There's a lot of good stories out there. And a lot of them, they just need to be told. Thank you, everybody.